From divines to starve the light carry K, to the misunderstood ones, the hidden story of lightworkers on earth, the ones who never fit the mold. There are souls walking this earth who have always known themselves to be different, not because something is wrong with them, but because they came holding a frequency the world is only just beginning to recognize. They are the loners and the free spirits, the ones who march to the beat of a drum that others cannot hear. They carry silence as if it were a language. They feel more than words could ever contain, and they see through eyes that pierce surface. They do not need to be told when something is false. They know it in their bones. 1,000 heralds can proclaim a lie, and they will never bow to it, no matter how many others do. They stand in a way that unsettles those who cannot understand them. They do not need to be convinced of the sacred. It sings inside of them as a living memory, one they might not be able to name until the moment they stand in its presence and their whole body remembers. And for this they are often misunderstood, disregarded, or even condemned. The weight of remembering. To carry memory in a world addicted to forgetting is no easy task. It is heavy, it is isolating, and it places them at odds with the illusion that most still defend. Yet this is why they came, beings of light who chose flesh. Many of the beings who walk the surface of earth today were once vast beings of light, radiant beyond anything our current minds can comprehend. From higher dimensions they watched humanity become so entangled in the false matrix that the people of earth could no longer reach the frequencies of life that would reconnect them. The forgetting grew so dense that those on the surface could no longer feel the presence of the light beings waiting patiently just beyond the veil. The great ones of light realized that human beings, trapped in the density of this realm, could only respond to what their eyes could see and their hands could touch. A choice born of compassion. Knowing this, the light beings made a choice born of compassion, so vast it still echoes through creation. They saw that the forgetting ones had fallen so deeply into illusion that they might miss the very ascension window they had come here to experience, a window unfairly obscured by the weight of distortion. In truth, all will eventually find their way home, but the danger of this cycle was that the forgetting could cause irreparable harm, keeping souls bound in limitation far longer than intended. Out of compassion, the light beings chose to intervene, stepping into flesh so that humanity would not be denied the opportunity to rise with the turning of the great cycle. They chose to come in visible form, in human form, in flesh. They knew this meant surrendering to the same forgetting, the same density, the same false matrix that had bound the others. Yet within them was a seed from home that could not be erased, a wiring that ensured remembrance would awaken at the appointed time. They trusted that when the moment came, they would stay true. The culmination of the cycle. This is that time. This lifetime marks the culmination of a massive ascension cycle. With the arrival of incoming light codes on Earth, the carriers of light are activating. They are catalyzing. They are remembering who they are and why they came. Their mission is not simply to remember in the quiet safety of their own being, but to remember in the very midst of the forgetting. To stand before those still asleep and hold truth so steadily that it ripples through the fabric of reality itself. In the presence of their remembrance, others are stirred, even if only faintly at first, as though a blurry light appears at the edge of a vision and something ancient begins to whisper home. Why the forgetful forgot. To understand the courage of this choice, we must also understand why the forgetful ones forgot. They entered the false matrix long ago, never imagined the depth of manipulation and distortion that would take root here. They believed forgetting was a veil that would one day lift, not a trap that could hold them hostage for so long. They underestimated the density of deception and how it would weave itself into their identity. It was inconceivable to them that they could become this lost in the matrix, and yet they did. It is true that anyone can leave the false matrix at any time, but the doorway out requires you to remember who you are, and it is impossible to remember who you are when you defend the illusion of who you are and believe in the lie with everything you've got. The trap of the illusion. This is what happened to the forgetting ones. They mistook illusion for self, defended it as truth, and clung so tightly to the familiarity of their prison that they began to fight against anyone who offered another way. 144 flowing in. Still today this continues on the surface, and it is the very reason humanity has remained locked in illusion for so long. Many chose the comfort of the known, even when that comfort was woven from lies. And so when light-bearers began to appear, daring to question what was accepted, and daring to remember what was forgotten, the forgetting ones resisted with outrage, with scorn, with condemnation. These light-bearers carried a memory from home, a distant echo that began to dismantle the lie the moment it brushed against illusion. Those who had accepted the illusion as truth felt personally challenged, indescribably triggered, and unreasonably afflicted by the presence of truth on this planet. And so they fought, not against truth itself, for they knew that that was a battle already lost, but against the ones who carried it, hoping that by silencing the truth-bearers they could preserve the illusion a little longer. Yet every act of resistance only revealed their desperation, and every blow against the light became another crack in the prison they were trying so hard to defend. The compassionate rescue team. The light beings knew this would be so. They knew they would be met with disbelief, with exile, with hostility, and still their compassion was so vast that they came anyway. They could not abandon humanity. They could not stand by while souls remained trapped in a forgetting so deep it threatened to erase even the memory of home. So they came as a kind of rescue team, not to drag anyone back against their will, for home can never be forced, but to create the conditions in which freedom of choice could be remembered. The lightworkers of today, they became lightworkers, the light-bearers of this age, walking in human form not to be superior, but to stand as catalysts. Their very presence is an invitation. Their steady remembrance creates a resonance that makes it possible for others to remember too. The call to return home cannot be imposed, but the lightworkers make home visible again simply by embodying the frequency of home and rippling it into the collective field. The cost of refusal. This is why their path is not easy. Their refusal to surrender to illusion threatens the fabric of the false matrix that so many cling to, and so they are condemned, dismissed, and attacked. Yet they keep remembering. They keep carrying the codes of light. They keep loving humanity enough to remain true, even when it costs them everything. The great love story. Because this was never about duty. It was never about superiority. It has always been a love story. The light-bearers came because they remembered the magnificence of humanity even when humanity forgot itself. They remembered who we are when we could not, and they chose to walk among us so that we might one day remember too. And they do not walk alone. Lightworkers are walking each other home, shoulder to shoulder, reminding and uplifting one another as much as they remind the world. This is not the work of a single soul, it is the mission of many, and together they hold the doorway of remembrance wide open. And in time, even the blind will remember, because the seers refuse to forget. From CarrieK.com